and welcome to another episode of The Brand Called You, a podcast and video show which brings you leadership lessons, knowledge and experience and wisdom from hundreds, no, thousands of successful individuals from around the world. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe so you won't miss a new episode. I'm your host, Frits Bussemaker, and today I'm delighted and privileged to have a conversation with Emelda Mwamanga. Emelda, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
Emelda, I'm going to briefly introduce you to our audience, listeners and viewers. You are a serial entrepreneur, talk show host, activist from Tanzania. You hosted many TV show talk hosts, including Gumzo, which we'll cover. You've been recognized for your work as being one of Africa's most influential women in business and governance in 2015, top 50 women in management in 21 in Africa. You won the World of Difference Award of the International Alliance for Women, and you are the founder of the very first lifestyle magazine, Bang, in East Africa. Background in HR and Coca-Cola, so more than enough to talk about. Now, I'm definitely going to cover how you got those awards and the Bang magazine, but let's first start off, Emelda. Tell us a little bit about your background and to what extent your background, family, parents have influenced where you are today.
Thank you, Fred. Well, the firstborn in a family of two daughters, born and raised in Tanzania, Dar es Salaam. As you introduced me, I'm a global leader, a women empowerment champion. I'm a CEO and founder of Bang Magazine, which we started in 2004. So it's many, many years right now. I'm a principal consultant of Relin Company Limited, which is human capital and logistics company. But also, I'm a chairperson of a WISE Foundation, which is organization that deals with women and issues of climate change. So what we're trying to do is we focus on the role of women can play in the climate change. I'm a flag bearer of Vital Voices, which is a nonprofit founded by Hillary Clinton. And it came with the idea that nations and communities cannot move forward without women's voice in leadership and position. And it resonates very well with my passion, my focus that pushed me into publishing the magazine and doing everything that I do. I worked for Coca-Cola after I graduated from University of Cape Town in South Africa, and I was a HR officer. And there at Coca-Cola, I was given one of my key tasks was to produce a newsletter for the company, and that's where my passion of creating magazines came alive. Because we didn't have a lifestyle magazine in Tanzania. So I worked for Coca-Cola for about 3 years. Then I quit the job and I started my own company, which is what I'm still working on right now. And being raised in a family of girls, I remember one time my mother had told me that my daughter, I only have two children, and to me, you're both sons and daughters, because she didn't have a son. And she talks from the background that most people, especially in Africa, when you have a son, it's where you're seen to be having a child that can will keep the name forward for the family, for the clan. And for girls, most of the time the girls were perceived as, you go to school, then you finish school, you get a job, then you get married, and that's it.
Okay.
So coming from that background, I wanted to be more than just a daughter. I wanted to be the daughter that will be thinking along like a man.
Okay, I
And not
understand. Emelda, can I briefly interrupt you because I need to ask this before I forget. When you said your mother said, "You are my daughters and my sons,"
yeah.
is that normal, or is that an exception to take that approach? That's one question. And the second question to that, what does this say for the families where you have both men and women? Does that mean the women don't get that same attention? So to that respect, has it been a benefit that you come from a family with only daughters?
Well, many years ago, most family were not investing so much in daughters because it's the perception that they will end up getting married, having children with the other family, so they will not take the name of the family forward. And well, things have changed now that most parents now they have seen what daughters are capable of. So you find most family right now they, they give the same treatment to both boys and girls. But I'm looking from the way back when having only daughters, in other people would see that this family is not is you seem like you haven't achieved more in terms of having children. So yes, when my mother told me about that, I took it very serious, and I understood where she came from, being a firstborn herself from her family, and she wanted the most for us. She wanted to see us maybe grow up, run our own businesses, doing our big things rather than
Yep.
just get married and just end up being a housewife or things like that.
Oh, good for you. Yeah. And so, as mentioned, you started a newsletter, Coca-Cola. You found a passion for writing. So, how did that um, end up being Bang as a first lifestyle magazine?
Okay, so as I told you, I studied in South Africa.
Yep.
That's where I did my university degree. In South Africa, it was much very different from back home in Tanzania. The country was very well developed, and things like media was big, and they had over hundreds of different publications, magazines, lifestyles, you know, you name it, healthy, fashion, beauty, and all that. But this I didn't see in my country. So while I was studying at UCC, I used to collect a different publication, especially even the magazine from the US. I used to buy Oprah magazine, Essence magazine, and I'd never miss every month. So going back home, I couldn't find those magazines. And the only publication that was on newsstand was donor funded called FEMA, and which was talking about HIV/AIDS, and it was showing people who were affected, kind of like educating the people about AIDS. And I felt like there is a gap because there's so much good things that are done in my country, and it was not documented. And that's where I started Bang. And the acronym for Bang is Believe and Never Give Up, because I wanted to give um, inspiration, hope to many women like myself that they can do something and they can achieve,
Okay.
and they have a story to tell.
So, I mean, the name was Bang from the get-go, from the first moment. Believe and never give up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And do you believe that how, to what extent does your readership is aware of that's the acronym, and do they relate to that?
Oh, Bang is a brand right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a brand name in my country, and many people understand that it's believe and never give up. In fact, there have been a lot of hurdles. We face a lot of challenges along the way, but believe and never give up has helped me myself to
Mhm.
believe that despite the challenges that we were going through, I should keep pushing, and eventually we are alive till today.
Okay. No, I'm just wondering because if I compare this to the glossy magazines, the lifestyle magazines in Europe, which I'm aware of, most of them don't have that, let's say, message, especially not in the title. So interesting that you start off a glossy or a lifestyle magazine with a very specific message in mind for your readers.
Right. Oh, by the way, I haven't shown you the magazine.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
This is the copy.
Very
And I
nice.
cover of last year magazine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, great. Hey, and so when the message is believe and never give up, um, that message is focused for women, if I'm correct.
Right. When we started, Bang was for both men and women,
Okay.
and we went like that for more than 5 years. But I attended a program that taught me that importance of having a niche, that where you focus, you can give it 100% to a certain niche, that rather than just be too broad. And that made me come back to my business and say, you know what, let's see who has been our main subscribers and who always email us, contact us about the publication. And we did a small research, and we realized that women have been the people who have been supporting us so much, and we decided now to have a niche and focus on women. So it is a woman magazine.
Now, if I look at the lifestyle magazines in Europe, I see a lot. I still see a lot of, I would say, Hollywood, Americana in the pages. Sometimes I believe a little bit too much. How's that in your magazine? Is it focused on local people, or do you also look at the international aspect, ranging from Hollywood to K-pop?
Well, I'm focusing on the local people, but we are not reinventing the wheel.
Hmm?
So I look at what is happening in other countries, especially in America. As I said, Oprah magazine and Essence magazine have been my model.
Hmm?
So I will see what they're doing, and I translate it to my country. Most of the people we do interviews are Tanzanians. Um, when we talk about fashion and lifestyle, we borrow bits of what happens in other countries to introduce in Tanzania.
Okay, but and I also understand that it's not only in Tanzania at the moment. The magazine is crossing other countries around the region.
Yes,
Yeah.
Kenya and Uganda, the East African.
Okay.
You have a dream of distributed throughout the Africa,
Yeah.
you and hopefully one day it will come true. Yeah, but for now we are in East Africa.
Great. Now, I was wondering, can you share a little bit where you get your inspiration from? First of all, as a person, as an individual, to do what you're doing. So, who do you listen to? What do you read? Uh, do you have anything there?
Well, the first inspiration came from my father. He I saw him from the early child. I saw how my dad um, ran his business. He was once employed in the company that was the government.
Mhm.
They, and then there was a privatization where he bought the business and started running himself, and he hired many people. And I really liked what he was doing. I saw how he was able to travel at any time, anywhere, and how he dealt with his staff. And I wanted to have something like what he did. So he influenced me to start my business at early age. I started my company when I was 22.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I saw it from my father. But I'm very inspired by many successful women around the world. Looking at Oprah, um, seeing women in leadership, different times I look at different people and I get inspiration from there. I read all self motivation books, and I'm writing. By the way, there's a book that I'm going to be launching sometime this year. It's called Finding My Voice, and I'm speaking to the women who um, feel like they've lost their voice along the way, or maybe their passion or things like that to resonate again and to start, you know, going for their passion and purpose that they are made for this.
Okay. And to what extent is that book you're writing going to publish? Is that an autobiographical biography?
Yeah,
A personal
it-
experience?
it's a personal experience. Yeah. On March, I launched a book called Pivoting in Heels. Um, it's a coffee table book.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's a
Pivoting
coffee
in heels. I
table.
like that.
Yeah. And this was I did interview with 60 women leaders in my country, CEOs, directors, business owners, and I was talking to them about how they pivoted during the pandemic. So each woman had their own stories, how they dealt with the shock
Yeah.
and how to manage their companies. Because most of these companies are still thriving right now. Um, we've seen many big organizations went down with COVID, but these leaders, they managed to do good with their organization. So
Okay.
that's all.
Yeah. Outside the fact that they're women, they're leaders, do they have something in common in their stories, how they approached it? Yeah.
Yes, yeah. The commonality is how they're first resilient, and also how they quick shift to technology, because some most of these organizations, they had to work from home, but they provide equipment, and
Mhm.
they make sure that they still in touch with their team. And yeah, so similarities are there.
Great. So, and was it easy to get these women to talk to you, or was it a struggle?
It was both struggle, and I was once I told them about the book, they were quick to understand and to give me the appointment. But others, because I dealt with CEOs, they were so busy with meetings and travels and things like that. So it was tough to keep on scheduling the meetings. It took about 5 months to be able to
Oh,
interact with these women.
that's not too bad. And assuming, as you just mentioned, that Bang is a household name now, that they know, hey, it's not just anybody, it's actually somebody which we know in Tanzania who's inviting me to share their best, yeah, their experience.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Now, um, I was wondering, what's your vision on success? When are you, when did you cross the finish line? When are you happy and satisfied?
I think I'm in a process. Um, I will be satisfied when my goals are met. And these goals, one is to see that I'm able to leave a legacy even while I'm still alive. That I have my people that I've trained, mentored, that can run my businesses, that I can just be in boards, sitting and seeing things are done. But also being able to see that I've impacted people, seeing the people who once were felt like they have no, they've lost everything, but seeing them that I've impacted them and I see them doing big. So that's where I will call it success.
Okay. I mean, that puts a little bit of context, a quote I found on your website, and let me read that to the audience. Today, I'm here to inspire you, to keep you going just a little bit longer. There is a future very bright ahead of you. I'm sending you faith.
Yes,
And so that, um, first of all, was that a quote from many to choose from, or is this always your own personal quote?
it's it's something very dear to me. Um, I went through divorce,
Okay.
and it disorganized me for like 3 years. I didn't know, because sometimes as women, you get married, you have family, and this is how you view yourself. Like, I'm a wife to somebody, I'm a mother to. I have a daughter, and sort of like my identity, I looked around that. So going through divorce, starting and it wasn't an easy divorce. So it made me feel for some time like I was a loser. you know, and I needed to keep reminding myself that there's life after this. I have to be strong. I
Yeah.
have to continue, remember what was my dream and to go with the initial dream, not a dream of being a wife or a mother. Yeah. So I resonate so much with that, and I've seen once I accepted the situation and I started looking at myself inward, I was able to move.
I understand that you have to pace yourself in a period like that and then realize, hey, there's indeed, as you mentioned, a bright future ahead of you. I'm
Yeah.
sending you faith. Is that religious context, or is that a context of I believe in you?
I'm a I'm a born again,
Yeah.
and I feel like partly it helped me because sometimes and you see a lot of people going through depression. It's because they sometimes they lose faith. They feel like this is it, I'm done, or I've lost everything, and that depression hits. But when you start believing that there's something bigger than yourself, there's something good for you, then you start having faith that it's going to be over and you're going to be better. So that faith is what I want to send to people.
Okay. Now, doing my homework, I found out you've actually ordered. You made my life quite easy because you've indicated what you care about, and it's health and wellness, women and spirituality, marriage and intimacy, career and business. That's what I
Right.
found. Is there anything which is there a priority in that list or not, or are they all equal?
Priority is into mental health, and it's something that I'm now in Chicago, but I'll be back in Tanzania in May,
Yeah.
and I really want to start programs where I could organize escape programs where I take people from the daily place they've been to get for maybe 2, 5, or 3 days away with the religious people. We can pray, worship, sing, but we can connect in a deeper level and help with psychologists or counselors to help people to unpack the challenges that they're going through and see bigger picture. So these are going to be mostly focused on mental health,
Yeah.
and I think it's big, yeah. But
Okay.
also, when you talk about marriage and it's something because from the background I know, once you're not happy at home, then you can't be good leader. As much as you are learned and trained, but if your home is not good, then the challenge you can see it even in the workplace.
Okay.
So we're thinking of having programs to help. And my focus mostly is in women because I believe these are mothers, these are wives, but they are leaders
That's what you just mentioned at the beginning, that you need to make a focus on something, and then that's your niche.
of
Now,
my.
yeah. Now you already mentioned the fact that okay, you were married, you got divorced, you have a wife. These are milestones in anybody's life. But are these the key milestones, or are there other milestones you would consider to be, hey, these milestones formed or shifted my life?
Shift in my life.
Yeah.
Um, there are many milestones. For me, the opportunity to first of all, I've been appointed as a president of the ABWCI,
Okay.
the
Yeah.
Association of Business for Women and Commerce and Industry. It's a global virtual commerce platform. It is something very big to me, and this is going to give me also an opportunity to connect with leaders in my country and see how we could empower and help women in cross-border businesses or different other avenues to help a woman. I have several awards. I've been recognized different places. And these to me, they are milestones. Marriage is, well, to many people, it is something good for people to be married and to have places. But for me, I think it's what also you do for your community.
Okay. And all these reward, are they all related to the fact that you founded Bang Magazine?
I think Bang Magazine have been a, a, a point or a pivot, like a point to help me connect. It's a brand or a tool that helped me to be in different other platforms because I deal with women.
Okay. Now, I don't know if I call it a spin-off, but at Bang Magazine, you also set up, I believe, an NGO called Dare to Dream.
Well, yeah.
And can you tell us a little bit about what that is all about and why did you set that up?
Okay. Here to Dream was founded early on when I started the magazine, and I wanted to give back to the community. So at that time, I think it was 2009, I felt like these women who have been supporting us so much, what can we do back to them? But also, I looked at me, myself as a woman. I looked at what helped me to give me that platform to be able to start my business. And I knew we as women need a lot of training, but also we need mentors who can help us to move forward without going through a lot of challenges or doing a lot of mistakes. So I Dare to Dream started as a mentorship platform, and we connected women who are successful in business with women who are starters in the business. And then later on, it became every year since then we do seminars where we invite financial institutions to come and share um, products that they have for women, but we also have women who are inspiring other women, um, things like that. But as a flag bearer of Vital Voices, I work with Dare to Dream basically to organize mentorship work. So every year, Vital Voices does mentorship work in around 180 countries in the world. And in Tanzania, I'm organizing the mentorship work. Vital
Now, as you just indicated, the mentorship is about helping people, guiding people, helping them to avoid mistakes. Now, I was wondering, um, are you able and willing to share a couple of, you could say, the biggest learnings from your or failures, mistakes? What I mean, I can imagine it's a bumpy road, but what's an example of one of those bumps you've crossed?
the comes personal. Um, there was a time I started another magazine. It's called Bankstar, and I wanted to do so many things at one time, and which it affected my business because now the finance was being channeled into different things that I was doing. But I got a mentor who helped me personal to start focusing and doing one thing at a time. So I saw the importance of having a mentor. But there's challenges like financial challenges as you run a business, you want to do something, you want to get some funds. So sometimes when you're connected to a mentor who is um, experienced or successful, it's easier to advise you and to connect you to a certain financial institution and stuff like that. Yeah, so those were my examples. I don't know if I answered your question.
Oh yeah. It's a perfect example, and time is moving very fast, Imelda. So I'd like to finish this conversation with one final question from you. It's a mentoring question, and that is, what's your advice to young managers who are starting their own journey? When you mentor people, is there any generic advice? Is that the same advice you got, focus, or are there other advices? What's your take on that?
My advice for a manager that's starting, yeah, one, leadership is it has to come from your heart. You need to know that you have a role to play and you want to play that role. Believing in yourself, but having empathy and connecting with the people is very important. So for me, growing in my journey, I had to believe in myself that I'm capable and I can do it, and I had to connect with the people around me. That because at the end of the day, we whether you have a product or service, you're working with people. So once the people understand you, believe in you, that means you're motivating them, you're showing them the importance of you as a leader, and they accept you, then the journey is easy.
Emelda, that's very sound advice. I fully understand that. So I want to thank you so much for sharing your insights in, well, Bang, why you started Bang, what you're doing at the moment. Hopefully, we're going to maintain in contact with each other. And I want to thank you so much for spending time for the brand called you. So, ladies and gentlemen, this was Emelda Mwamanga. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Brand Called You videocast and podcast, a platform that brings you knowledge, experience, and wisdom of hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Do visit our website www.tbcy.in to watch and listen to the stories of many more individuals. You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for the Brand Called You.